Looking for the best Japanese supermarket finds to take home? From pantry staples to perfect souvenirs, I've got you covered. A lot of you found my first video really helpful, so here's another one. Light, long-lasting, and unique items I recommend you bring back home. Please note that these are easily available everyday products for us Japanese people. If you're interested in higher-end food items, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to check out my video on Japanese supermarket snacks too. Alright, this time I split the categories into seasoning, soup, dashi, etc. and others. Let's get into it. So in the last supermarket video, I feel like I showed you some of the products that are suitable for the summer because that video was filmed in the summer and I was having like mugicha, barley tea and stuff. But this time I think we have more winter suited products, so I hope it's something different. But anyway, let's start off with our first one. It's a seasoning. We have the shichimi. The direct translation of shichimi is 7 flavors in Japanese. So shichimi would have 7 different ingredients inside, and if you sprinkle it on top of your dish, then it gives like a really spicy, nice, flavorful kick. And this one is a brand you would often see in supermarkets and even in like udon stores. But this one has pepper, like red hot chili pepper. That sounds like the name of a band. Tangerine skin, sesame, asa, I think that's poppy seed. Let me check and put it here in the captions. Shiso, perilla leaf, sansho, Japanese pepper, and ginger. So yeah, like I said, if you sprinkle this on top of like a plain udon or soba, it really gives a very flavorful kick. What I like to do recently is make some nabe just from dashi, and then you put a bit of ponzu, which is like a citrusy condiment, and then sprinkle a bit of this and it gives a great kick. These ones you can get from a supermarket are obviously made in the factories, so the fragrance isn't that strong because, you know, the fresher it is, the more fragrant it is. This one I bought for this video from a supermarket, but usually I use this that I bought from a shichimi store in Asakusa. So this one, usually they have the separate ingredients and then they like grind it for you, sometimes in front of you, sometimes it's like made every day or something. These ones, if possible, the ones that are just made in front of you are so much fresher and so much more fragrant, so if possible, go for this. If not, this will do a very good job still. Okay, next up we have seasonings from SMB. SMB is a big company that produces a lot of spices. So they sell things like paprika powder, cumin, pepper and stuff like that. But in supermarkets you can find these small packagings that are readily made so that you can just get your ingredient, like fresh ingredient, and mix it with those seasonings. So let's start off with this one first. It's the sansho kyuri, Japanese pepper with cucumbers. What you need to do is that you just get one, well, Japanese cucumbers are smaller than what you get in the West, but maybe like half of what you get in the West. And then you, it says here, but basically you just like smack the cucumbers and then mix in this packet. And it just makes like a very flavorful Japanese kick cucumber dish. These are very, very handy. It's also very affordable and it's very light. Inside it has 2 bags of 5.5 grams, so you can make this twice. So it's got 2 servings. Especially when I used to live on my own, I would get a few of these because if you want to make the cucumber dish at home, you need to get like different seasonings. But you know, if you don't want to get too many seasonings, then you can just get this and voila, it's done. So yeah, these are very handy if you don't want to buy too many ingredients. And then something similar, we have the chicken marinated in yuzu pepper. So yuzu pepper is actually one of my favorite seasonings in the Japanese cuisine. I think I talked about it in my previous supermarket video, but it's got a hint of yuzu, and even though they call it pepper, I think they actually use like green pepper, not like the black pepper inside. So yeah, it gives it like a very flavorful kick, but obviously very different from this sort of flavor. So very yuzu. If you like yuzu, if you like spicy stuff, this is definitely for you. So what you do is that you get one piece of chicken thigh and then you cut it, put it in a bag and marinate it with this bag, and then you can put it in the oven for 10 minutes and it makes grilled chicken. Yes, super easy, very handy. If you don't want to buy like a whole tube of yuzu pepper, then if you get this, it's also 2 servings, 10 grams in total just for this. Super handy. You only need to get this and some chicken from your own country. If you don't eat chicken, you can also do it with like salmon. That would also be good. If you find any of these like small SNB packagings, it's super handy. There are also like things like tandoori chicken and, you know, non-Japanese seasonings as well. just for your reference. Okay, next up we have the soups category. Which one should I start first? Maybe this one. So this one is mozuku soup. Mozuku is a type of seaweed and it's very popular in Okinawa. If you've seen my Okinawa series, you would know that I love Okinawa and I love mozuku. So mozuku are kind of like, it's a bit different from wakame seaweeds. They're like stringy, just like that, and quite crunchy. But they're not fishy at all, and it goes well with anything. And this soup contains mozuku, obviously, with some other like green ingredients. So you open this packaging into a bowl, pour 160 ml of hot water or water, cold water it says, and then it makes some soup. And you can also have it with some rice. Oh, yes, yeah, these are really, really good. And it's by a big brand called Maruchan, so I'm sure you can find this in any supermarket. So last time in the supermarket video, I showed you miso soup, but I thought miso soup is a bit too basic, so I thought I'd show you something a bit more unique. Okay, next up we have osuimono. So osuimono is also another type of soup, but it's clear. It's just made from dashi. As I said, it's also a bit different from miso soup, so I thought it's going to be interesting to show it to you. This one is a very classic brand we have in Japan. This one's by Nagatanien. And this one is flavored as matsutake, and matsutake is like a type of mushroom in Japan that's quite a luxury ingredient. So usually you only have it in special occasions, but this one is flavored with matsutake. Like osuimono, you do have it within like a Japanese course meal, but what's common for us is that we have it during the New Year's with some mochi inside. Yeah, so that's a very good tradition we have. But even if it's not New Year's, we still have it. So this one contains 8 servings and it's 24 grams for the whole thing. So yeah, very, very light and it fits your suitcase very well. Alright, next one we have ochazuke. Ochazuke isn't technically soup because how you would have it is that you would have like a bowl of rice, like warm rice, and then you put like 1 packet of this into the bowl and then pour some hot water into it. And that's what you call an ochazuke. Ocha means tea and zuke means to like kind of like marinate. Originally they used to pour like hot tea into the rice and that's how they used to make ochazuke. But nowadays we don't really do that. We usually use this as the seasoning. This one, oh, it's same. It's the same brand, Nagatanie. So it's a very big ochazuke, furikake, seasonings company. This one I chose the very basic one, nori, the seaweed flavor. But you can also choose salmon flavor. I think there was like some other flavors. I'll show it to you on the screen. But yeah, you can choose your flavor depending on what you like. And this one also has 8 packets and is 48 grams as a whole. So obviously you can make ochazuke out of this, that's what it's for. But when I was a student in the UK, I would take this back home and cook it with pasta. When I studied in the UK, I wanted to take some Japanese products from home to the UK, right? I mean, that's how I got this whole, lightweight, long-lasting, unique product video idea. But yeah, I would take ochazuke back to the UK. Obviously, I would make ochazuke, but what was good was that I used to cook a serving of pasta and then I mix 1 packet of this into the pasta with a bit of olive oil. And that way it makes like a really easy Japanese style pasta. Yeah, I got this recipe from a friend who was also Japanese and studying in the UK. So yeah, broke Japanese students used to do that a lot. And it's very good, so I highly recommend it. Maybe if you have some, you can try a bit of butter. I think that would also be very good. Or sesame oil. Ochazuke, I highly recommend you buy it. Okay, next up we have the dashi, etc. section. So dashi means Japanese broth, and in my previous video, I showed you like the dashi flakes that you can just like put into hot water and make it into dashi. But then if you want to make your own dashi, I thought these ingredients would be suitable. So let's start off with this one. It's kombu. Yeah, these are just dried seaweed. So you can see that there are these strips of seaweed. Actually, this one's a small one I got so I can show it to you, but I'll show you the opened one which I have at home. So that's the one I already have at home. This one's 150 grams. And the one I wanted to show you was 20 grams. So obviously, if you're not familiar to Japanese cooking, then I thought this would be too big for you. But it just looks like that, like strips of, it's hard, like, like that. And what you do is that you dip this into cold water for about half an hour to get the umami out of the seaweed. Or you can just like, this is a bit too big, but maybe cut it in half and put it in water. And then you just boil it and put some nabe, like hot pot ingredients into it. And that just makes a dashi nabe. It smells so good. by the way. Yeah, I thought I'd show you like the smaller one because this is a bit too intimidating and you probably won't be using this much. So how you would use dashi is that, like I said, you can use it as like a dashi hot pot, but you can also use it as a base for miso soup. So basically you just make the dashi water out of this, and then you just add whatever ingredients like tofu, mushrooms, leek, or whatever into the soup, and then you melt miso into the soup, and that's just how you make miso soup. And obviously if you don't want to get this and make it easier, you can get the powdered dashi as well. Okay, next up we have katsuobushi or bonito flakes. So this one you can use to make dashi just in the same way as the seaweed. This one's already like an opened one I had at home. So it just looks like that, the bonito flakes. What I do usually is that I would get like a liter of water and then put a strip of this and add a pack of this into the water, leave it for a night or maybe 5-6 hours, and then that makes like a great homemade dashi water. Like I said, you can make nabe from it, you can make miso soup from it, you can make Japanese stew. We do use dashi in mostly all the cooking in Japanese, like home cooking. It's a very useful thing to have at home if you want to elevate a bit of your Japanese cooking experience a little bit. But maybe what you're mostly familiar with is that you put these on top of okonomiyaki or takoyaki. These are like the essentials if you're having these at home. We have like a takoyaki making machine, so whenever we have like a takoyaki party at home, we would get packs of these and a bit of like, you know, the green seaweed, and then yeah, some sauce and mayonnaise, and it makes like a great takoyaki party. Another way to use this is just on top of tofu. So you just get like a bit of tofu, put this and a bit of soy sauce, and it just makes like a traditional Japanese side dish. Also, you can mix in with some cooked spinach with this and a bit of soy sauce, and that's another Japanese side dish. It is actually very versatile, so I'm sure you can Google katsuobushi recipes or bonito flake recipes and make whatever you want to make. Okay, next one is one of my favorites. It's tororo kombu. Sorry, it's already opened because it was already at home. So this one is kombu seaweed. It's actually made from the same ingredient as this, but this one is obviously very hard. But this one, they've been shredded to make it super soft and very easy to eat. What I like to do is that whenever I make miso soup, I like to grab a bit of this and then just like directly put it into the miso soup. And it gives it like a very smooth and milky texture to the miso soup. So yeah, if you like any sort of seaweed and if you think that this, you know, airy, smooth texture sounds like a thing, then definitely highly recommend getting this. Yes, in the picture here they mix it with a bit of like an udon dish, so that's also an idea. But yeah, I always have to have this in my pantry. And this one, well, it's been used, but it used to be maybe like up to there, and it is only 23 grams, and I'm sure it will last you for at least like 3 months, at least 3 months. Okay, last up in the dashi etc section, we have the freeze-dried miso. So usually if you refer to miso in the Japanese cuisine, you would think of a big tub of paste. And these things are usually, I don't know, oh, let me get it. Okay, oh. So this one, I just got this from my fridge. I'm sorry, it's like really used and it's like practically almost done. But yeah, when we refer to miso, we refer it to this, and this one is 650 grams. It's very bulky, it's very heavy, and I thought it's not gonna make it into your suitcase. So instead of showing you this, I thought I'd show you this one, which is freeze-dried and lighter. And there's something even better. There's already dashi inside. So like I explained before, if you're trying to make miso soup from scratch, you would have this or this, you know, or both, or just the powdered dashi, and then you would mix in miso soup. But then this one, you can literally just mix this with hot water and it makes miso soup. Well, you probably want to be putting some ingredients in like tofu or leek, just, you know, just like that. But yeah, if you just get this, it does the job. It's also shown here on the packaging, but you can also use it to make some stir fry that has the miso flavor, or it also shows like the Japanese style pasta here. So yeah, it is actually very versatile. And this bag is 200 grams. And here it says 18 grams of the normal miso equals to 7 grams of this freeze-dried one. So you need less of this to cook your food. That's why I thought, you know, when you're taking it back home and you have limited luggage space and weight limits, then I thought this would be a perfect option. Okay, now let's get on to the other section. So this one is a must-have in my pantry, and it's kinako, soybean powder. As the name suggests, the ingredient is only soybean. And yeah, these are like fine powders that are very, very delicate. How I have this every day is when I have plain yogurt, I would mix in like a tablespoon of kinako into the yogurt and add a bit of honey or, you know, sweetener, any sort of like sugar sweetener, and it makes a kinako yogurt. That is my favorite way to have it. And because it's made with soybeans, it's filled with protein. So it gives it like a very good balanced morning meal, I think. And yeah, it's probably more common to have it with mochi. So you have like a block of mochi and then you would add this and a bit of powder on top of the mochi and it makes like kinako mochi. Also at the back, it says that you can mix in with a bit of milk and it makes like a kinako drink. So that's also a very good way to have it. Oh, sprinkle it on top of vanilla ice cream. Put a bit of brown sugar syrup onto it. Oh, that sounds so good. I would love to try that. So yeah, this one I have is 110 grams, but I'm sure you can find like smaller packagings as well. So depending on how much you want it, you can just get like a small packaging. It's obviously very small, very light to take back home. Yeah, I definitely used to bring this back to the UK as well when I was a student. I've been a fan of kinako since, I don't know, high school. Okay, last but not least on the list we have kamameshi no moto. So kamameshi is actually made in these special bowls that steams the rice in a very good way, and usually it's like flavored in different things, and this one is tori, so it's chicken. And you don't need this special bowl. I don't have it at home, but what you can do is that you get 3 cups of white rice. You know, when we refer to cups of rice, we don't mean like 240 mils, we mean like 180 mil. That's like the measure for rice in Japan. So you get 180 mil times 3 cups of white rice, and then you cook that with the normal amount of water, and then you put this into the rice, and then you cook it like you usually cook white rice. Okay, let me actually open this and show you what it looks like. So it actually looks like that with all the seasonings and ingredients inside. Before you cook white rice, you open this packaging, put this in the rice cooker, and it makes a very good seasoned rice. Like that. I love having flavored rice from time to time, especially with like tonjiru, which is like miso soup with pork and a lot of like, you know, chunky veg inside. That makes such a great meal. So this one is only, how much? Okay, this one packaging is 134 grams and it's just 1 serving, but you can make it for, you know, 3 cups of rice, which is usually like a serving for me is like half a cup, so that would be like 6 servings. So you can just freeze it in the freezer after you cook it, or if you have a big family, that's like 1 serving for you guys. If you want to cook the flavored rice at home, then you need to get all these, you know, ingredients and condiments and all, but this one you can just get this packaging and make kamameshi at home. When you make it, please make it with Japanese rice, not like, you know, long grain rice or basmati rice, because that makes the whole experience very different. One thing I highly recommend, cook it with Japanese rice, please. Okay, so that was my volume 2 of my recommended products you can get from a Japanese supermarket. This time I tried to put prices for each product, but please note that it differs between where you go, like which supermarket you go to and when you buy it. So yeah, it's just an indication of around about how much they are. But yeah, I really enjoyed filming this video because it's like an everyday thing for me, and it feels like I can dive deeper into Japanese cuisine a lot more in these videos, especially like the cooking aspect of it. Please let me know which product interested you the most, and if you have any requests for future videos, please let me know as well. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it that thumbs up and subscribe to see more future videos about Japanese foods and culture. Bye!